Okay, so starting us off for Media here in this third game. He's on match point at the moment. It's going to be the one, the only Nyoken, a good North American Terran player, one of the older Foreign Brood War players as well. Played back in the day with Artosis and Co. and Rhett, of course. He was on Media back then, he's on Media now, and he's recently been dabbling in a little bit more casting. If you've watched the Have At You tournaments, he's been, Oh yeah, you're not Rhett. Sorry, my bad. I forgot that was your alias. Either way, yeah, so Nyoken doing a really good job recently, very, very active in the community, and actually stepping in while Artos is busy as well to do like the captaincy stuff alongside Future, so huge thanks to him. And his opponent, going to be fighting for BuLL, it's going to be a Protoss, it's going to be Empute, or Empute, I don't know how to say these Bolivian names. But both of them did lose their debut matches in the STPL, of course. This is Media and BuLL's first tournament, or first round in the STPL. They did join in round 2. But of course they can still get to the Grand Finals. As the way the Grand Finals works is based on overall points scored in the playoffs. So as long as they get to at least one playoff, they have a chance of getting into the finals, depending on how the other teams do as well. And here they are, both in Group A. Both our new teams. Now, the reason why Media are in the same group as BuLL is they actually drew in other groups. Well, White Clan did get the choice of swapping 2 teams. So they put Media in Group A with them and put Seoul in Group B with BuLL. So, unfortunately for BuLL, they did end up in... Wait, no, BuLL are in Group A, because Media are in Group A now. My bad, but Seoul are in Group B now, so they're in a group with IRK, our next game. But either way, let's have a look at what map they're going to be playing on. Okay, so this is a bit of an older map, 2008, Incra OSL, and it's going to be Return of the King. But is it going to be Return of the King here with Nyoken, or is the more... Well, to be honest, I can't say if Empute is new or not, because I'm not too sure. I'm just getting to learn about all of these Bolivian players in BuLL, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he's going to do in this game against Nyoken. It's going to be Game 3 of Week 3, Day 2, Media versus BuLL, Nyoken versus Empute. Let's get into the game, and let's see how this is going to go right now. Okay, so starting us off here, over in the top left-hand position of Return of the King, it's going to be Fat Hamburger, aka Nyoken, and he is your Terran player. And is he AFK? Is this the wrong replay? Okay, he did not mind with that SCV for a very, very long time. But yeah, I hope this is Nyoken. And not some like random replay I've somehow got. But there we go, it's going to be Nyoken in the top left, and his opponent down here in the bottom right position is going to be the red Protoss fighting for BuLL. It's going to be Empute. He's flexing, yeah. He's giving his opponent a little bit of an advantage here. And now, Return of the King, if you haven't seen it, I should have spoken about it a little bit more in the build up to the game. But where I'm solo casting, I'm trying to make sure I don't spend too much time in the interludes, just because my voice is going through a lot anyway. But as you can see, a fairly interesting map layout. You have a small ramp going down into your natural. There's actually a small narrow path going to your third base over here, which you can just about see here as well. And Empute is going for a very, very quick scout. Now, he unfortunately doesn't scout Nyoken first, so he's not going to go for that gas steal. But of course, Nyoken, if he so chooses to, could go for a 1 Rax expand, although he's not building a wall out his front. So this could be a gas here. It's going to be a gas here. And he's going to do a more classic style. Now, 1 Rax FE, I say is not classic, but it is. In case you don't realize, 1rax FE actually spawned in 2009 on Byzantium. Thank you very much, Mulholland. Okay, I can't see your name. Mulholland, I'm gonna call you. Thank you very much for the follow. I'm sure people make their Twitch names so no one can read them. I do apologize if I just insulted you by not being able to see your name properly, but it does mean a lot. But yeah, 2009 was when 1rax Double first really came into play in TVP, really popularized by players like UpMagic on Byzantium 2, and after that it became more and more common, and now these days it's probably the main build that you'll see Terran players doing on ladder, Terran players doing in tournaments as well. Oh, Mulholland MD, okay, that makes sense. Thank you. When it's all one word, it doesn't make any sense. But that does make a lot more sense. Thank you very much. But yeah, looks like this probe's gonna go down. He can't do anything too cheesy. He can't build a proxy pylon or anything like that. And it looks like he's gonna lose his probe. So really, really nice job by Nyoken. Maybe the probe's gonna get away. Yep, the probe's gonna get away. Ignore everything I just said. Now, Nyoken unfortunately gonna scout his opponent last. He did scout the top right first time, and then the bottom left. So going in an N shape, pretty good choice to do, but not when your opponents cross. That's a little bit harder to make work, but we're going to see a siege expand coming in from Nyoken here. Of course, it could be a mine expand. Mine expand not as great on this map. It's kind of good to put mines there, but he has pulled guys off of gas, so he's going to be going for a command center very shortly, likely with this SCV, giving his opponent a little bit more of a handicap by leaving one of his SCVs idle for a long time. But of course, siege expand very good on this map. Also mine expand okay as well, but he did stop at 2 marines. And I say that and he's added a 3rd marine, but he's not going to be going for any form of FD or anything like that. His mineral's actually quite low because he did add that extra SCV on. And meanwhile, back at Empute's base, he is going for range, of course, on his core, and getting some Dragoons out just to push away the SCV and maybe look to do a little bit of pressure at the front of the Terran base. Now, allow me to just drink this mug of tea I made before, which is now freezing cold that I forgot about. Just while we have a little bit of lull in the game as this Nexus comes up. Now, unfortunately for Nyoken, he's still not actually scouted his opponent. Like, the SCV was pushed away by a Dragoon. I think that Dragoon may have killed the SCV, no it didn't. So there is an SCV that took a little bit of damage back there. Really nice block there by Empute. Just making sure his opponent can't get in. Now, because he can't scan, because he can't scout either, Nyoken's been forced into an engineering bay. This is a very, very classic version of that siege expand build. You go for a engineering bay first, and then your academy. The engineering bay comes up about 27 supply. But you can see he's already had to have a turret forced out. And back at home we don't see any tech of any kind other than this robo coming out for Empute, so that's a little bit of an advantage for him as he does move into this game. Look, Nyoken forced to build another turret as well just to be safe. To be super safe, he should actually add one in his main as well, but that's a little bit overkill. You can see the sort of nestled away 3rd base here, another one of these small ramps. Just defending that. A little bit hard for Terran to hold on to, but you can put tanks up on this high ground to try and block anything coming through there. So that's an important thing. Now we're going to see an OBS coming up for Empute, and we're going to see a 3rd Nexus coming up as soon as he gets the minerals as well. So we're going to head into a long macro game here, I would say. It's not going to be anything too crazy. We're not seeing any Reavers, any DTs or anything like that. There's not going to be a big push early on from Nyoken because he's been set back quite a lot. He's adding on his armory off of the back of one factory, which is quite normal. Probably opting for the flash style of double armory. Take a 3rd base as well. Now we do have a couple of scans going down by Nyoken. He did scan here, didn't quite see what he wanted. Does see the robs and the Robo though, very, very important. Now, in case you haven't seen this map before, actually, there is a mineral-only base nestled in to the top right-hand side of your main. Now, this isn't on high ground, it does look like it, but this is actually not a cliff, it's just like a gap. You can't walk over there, you have to fly. And you'll see it's the same on this one as well, so that's how they have vision over it. Now, interestingly, it looks like the probe either went down or... oh, there we go, it hit. So, he is saving up for that Nexus still, but he's unsure when exactly to place it. But you can see Empute is playing very, very defensively, leaving his Dragoons in a very, very defensive position, not really pushing in, and this is purely so he can get this Nexus up. And you see, as soon as that Nexus goes up, Empute springs out onto the map with his Dragoons. He's up to about 8 Dragoons now, so it does leave him in a bit of a better position to maybe look to put some pressure on. But of course, he does need to be careful now. Nyoken's had a chance to build up his tank count. He's got 5 tanks already. Finally starting to go into some of those vultures and the upgrades as well. And those scans are going to allow him to see exactly what's going on. I clicked on the wrong one. But he keeps checking the tech, he keeps checking the gateway count, as he's not entirely sure what's going on. Now, we do have an early Templar Archives coming up here for his opponent. This is going to be 3 base Arbiter, and he is going to be looking to put a little bit of damage here on with a Bulldog play. Here we go, the shuttle going in on top of the tanks. The other tanks are not sieged at the back, but the Zealots actually attacking Marines, not getting the damage they want to. And Empute losing a lot of units there for free and not doing much damage whatsoever. A little bit of missed decision there by Empute, unable to see those tanks. Really going to cost him, and it's actually going to put him behind in supply for the first time in this game. And here we go, Nyoken springing out now with his own vultures, moving across the middle of the map. Is there much defense? No, there isn't. These vultures could do a lot of damage. He's adding on mines to try and block off these Dragoons, to try and get in to do as much damage as possible. The mine actually not going off, but still doing a lot of damage. The SCV has moved over here, trying to take down the cannon as much as possible. And here we go, the Vultures still trying to find their opening, still trying to find their way in. That SCV did a lot of damage to this cannon, what a hero. But Nyoken losing control of his Vultures for just a second. I think maybe he thought that he'd lost them. And now with these cannons finishing, there's not really too much damage he's going to be able to get done. Oh, but this is going to be where the real damage is. The Vultures were a complete fake. The tanks coming in from the high ground. One single mine actually blocking anything from coming up there. But very, very nice tank spread. Observers are already over this, but this is what happens when you lose too many units early on as Protoss by pushing in at the wrong time. Nyoken completely jumping at the right opportunity. I mean, DTs are coming out here. How many scans does he have? Looks like we do have a scan going down in front, but somehow he doesn't see the DTs. There we go, he sees them now. But that's a lot of damage being done by those DTs. 2 of the tanks taken out. We have a turret coming up here as well. And the Dragoons just unsure where to really go. This Nexus is not long for this world. And Empute's early advantage has just completely gone. And Nyoken doing a great, great job pushing down through this map. And it looks like he's going to try and pounce to finish the game with this engagement. He's slowly going to siege forward. He's adding on more and more turrets, just making sure he doesn't lose anything. 2 DTs. He's only on 4 factories though. This is a 4 factory push off of 3 bases, but here we go. He's pushing forward. He's not even sieging his front tanks. He needs to repair this one, but he's doing an incredibly, incredibly good job. We've got more tanks and vultures coming over here, and that's going to be too much. GG! And Nyoken is going to take Media to a 3-0 victory in this series. Now, usually we would have a 4th game, but both of these teams are new. They weren't sure that they had to play the 4th game, so no 4th game was actually played. They both agreed on that. So for this time, I'm not going to mark a game as the 4th game, or like give either team a walkover, because that wouldn't be fair in the standings. It's going to be a little bit of a detriment to either team because they will lose out on one win, and every single match win and game win counts in the lead up to the playoffs. So they did both choose to not actually play the game. So it's going to be 3-0. I'm going to quickly update the overlay, and then we're going to go to the results screen and have a look at the final scores. So that was a bit of a one-sided series, as someone just said in the chat. Media's players are being really active recently, doing a really good job as well. Obviously, some of the most old-school players in the game currently, players like Future and Machine and Nyoken, have been around for a very, very long time. And they're showing that even the old guys can still do a good job. So let's actually move on over to the overlay. Let's have a look at the final results of this series. And let's have a look. Let's get ready for our next game. Even. Okay, so as you can see from the overlay, nothing too crazy there. It was a 3-0 victory for Media. Now, Machine taking out Pochoterran in a very, very, very well-executed ZBT. Future taking out William by just having a little bit more stuff than his opponent. And Nyoken there just completely outclassing Empute in that TVP. Empute unable to do the damage he wanted to do early on. And because he lost so many units, it left Nyoken in a good position to do a counter. And a counter is what he did, and that counter was what won him the game. Great play by all our players in this series, including the BuLL players. Don't think that they're to be counted out at all. BuLL are a very good team, and I look forward to seeing their future games in the round of second round, third round, and fourth round. I think they're running out of chances to get to the playoffs. They're going to have to win their next 4 games if they do want to. I think they're playing 3 more games after this. If they do want to make it to the finals, I would believe, the playoffs for this series. But either way, thank you for tuning in, guys. I will be having a 5 to 7 minute break. Just